frozen. I don't know what's up with this video.
Well, good morning, folks. We are back at it at the 2022 Mosconi Cup. Day 2 about to start. I want to give a quick shout out to all of our sponsors. First of all, title sponsor Fort Worth Billiards, and then look around the outside, see all of the great companies that have chosen to help us get to this event. We're really appreciative. Guys, do us a favor, make sure to visit their websites, check out their merchandise. Just help them out because they really helped us out in getting here. So, guys, here with Mike Panozzo, Melina Mike again. Day 2 about to start. Let's talk a little bit about day 1.
Go ahead, Mike.
Couldn't have gone any better for the U.S., really. The crowd, if you watched it yesterday, you noticed it right away if you've seen any other Mosconi Cups. If you didn't watch it yesterday, get your DAZN subscription for the rest of the week because this is appointment viewing right here. But the crowd really, I thought, carried them through the day, a lot of it. I mean, they played really inspired. They played really well. Sky was Sky. I think the most encouraging thing, if you're a Team USA fan, was how well Tyler Steyer played yesterday.
Yes.
He was just rock solid, and that's a really good sign for the U.S. because they're going to need points out of guys other than Sky and Shane. And Tyler looks like he can deliver some points this week. They played really well, up 3-1. Won back-to-back hill matches at the end of the day. You can't really look for a much better start.
That Tyler performance is really pays dividends for other aspects of Team USA. When you take pressure off the guys of Shane and Sky, because you got someone who's got your back in Tyler and performing the way he's playing, it's just going to make those guys play even more loose, right? Because they don't have to deliver. I mean, they have to deliver, but that pressure of I better get this point because I don't know what's coming up behind me is not going to be weighing them down. I thought Shane looked really loose, even when he got in that one tough spot. He made that kick shot, 9-ball.
That shot was unreal.
I watched it
again today, and it's not as easy as he made that look.
Carl Boyes was doing the announcing. He didn't even think it was possible.
Yeah, you have.
He didn't let he can get behind it.
Yeah, because you literally needed to kick off the ball, hit that ball, and then bring the cue ball backward and cut the 9-ball down to the corner. When I saw it, I'm like, okay, he can get this ball rolling, but can he move it? Can he get it to the pocket? And yeah, he did. He made it in the pocket. It was an unbelievable shot.
Shane looked really loose yesterday. He played really well. Jason played a little loose shot on him in that doubles match with Albin. And Shane just came with a shot. I liked his demeanor. I think he, relied on Tyler, and Tyler stepped up. It was just so many aspects of yesterday that I think boded well. The atmosphere for me was spectacular. I've never been to, Mike, you've been to so many, but what was it like compared to years past being here in the U.S.? Because for me, it was just unbelievable, the energy in that room.
Yeah, it was. It's by far the noisiest, biggest pro-U.S. crowd there's ever been. So, in the earlier years, it was like 400 people. So then if there were, 150 Europeans there, they were half the crowd and they were twice as loud. Now you're getting to a point where we're at 2,500 people.
Right.
So if you've got the same 150 Europeans here, they just don't make a mark, right? And you could tell it was the quietest I've ever heard a European crowd at a Mosconi Cup yesterday, here or there. Never heard. They were almost non-existent. They tried a couple times. They just don't have the numbers this year.
Well,
and so the USA crowd is so big and so loud that it definitely had an impact yesterday on the way Europe played and on the way the U.S. played, I thought.
Well, I think they have some numbers, Mike, to where they could be loud, but the U.S. did a great job of keeping that crowd out of it.
Yeah.
Really, it's the one match where Europe wins and they kind of get a little bit of momentum, then right back to the Sky and Filler match, and obviously Sky takes that match in a really close one. But let's talk about Team Spain real quick.
Yeah.
There were a lot of question marks about David coming into this.
Both of them.
Well, yeah, Francisco being a rookie and David not, being the last selection over Federgorst.
Right.
But man, they delivered. Those guys played great, just like you would really expect them to play. I think after winning the World Cup of Pool, I thought they looked great. They're going to be a huge asset to Europe going forward.
I think it paid well that they played against Earl. Personally, I think Earl imploded very early on in that match. I think he completely lost all confidence. it'll weigh on who's ever going to be playing with him, except for maybe Shane, because Shane can just literally turn off his ears and not have to hear his BS. But I think that was the perfect storm to get them geared up. Now they are the World Cup of Pool champions, right? They got a lot of chemistry together. I'm not discrediting any of that, but they gave Team USA chances to take control of that match.
Sure did.
1,000,000%. Now USA didn't capitalize, but Team Europe let them have at least a peek through that window.
Well, Earl hit a few good safeties, I thought, early in that match that just leaked a little, or a ball.
He did get a little unlucky,
and I think that's what kind of put him on tilt a little bit, because it wasn't like he was playing bad initially. He was playing some good saves and things were leaking out, and I think he got frustrated from there. And then obviously he misses that one ball down in the, I forget what ball it was, but that ball down in the corner pocket, which is pretty routine for Earl. And after that, it was kind of like things went downhill, I think.
Yeah. He kind of gave them a free pass. And like you said, they did give some opportunities to Team USA to, Earl and Oscar just couldn't take advantage of them. But, that said, now Team Spain is done in doubles. They're out there.
But it'll have trickle-down effects, Mike, because now you got both guys loosened up. They've made a lot of 9 balls. They've ran, they put balls in the hole. They've had, table time relative, compared to if Team USA, did their job when they took advantage of it, they're going to be that much more cold. And more importantly, that rookie's going to be cold. And that guy who had a lot of question mark in David is going to be cold. And after the way he started that team's matchup, I mean, he chopped that 2-ball dead into the rail. I mean, he could not have had a worse opening shot to start off this Mosconi Cup, especially given the pressure.
But they, and it's 4 days, so it can go up and down. You can see players, start off lousy and catch a gear. You can see players start off hot and all of a sudden, play bad. I talked to Francisco this morning, and he said, I was really nervous the team match, because you're only going out there for one rack and what's going to happen. But he said in the team match in the doubles match, I got pretty comfortable, and he said I feel like I
see, that's what I'm saying though.
I love the crowd. I want to feed off it, and I feel pretty comfortable. That can change if all of a sudden the U.S. is up by
if they did their job
4 games, and Francisco now is playing singles and he's out there on his own. It could change.
I think it's harder to play doubles, though. I really do.
Not for those guys.
No, I really do. No, I really do, because you can't get into a rhythm, right? You shoot a shot, you wait a minute and a half, you shoot another shot, wait 40 seconds, shoot another shot. Maybe you miss the shot, or you play a safe. Now you go to your chair, you're waiting for the other team, and then you might not get the next shot coming up. It's not a conducive environment to getting into rhythm and feeling good. And Francisco is definitely a rhythm player. We know that. And so I really think that he's going to excel when it comes to singles. Although I did see the betting line today. We'll get to this in a minute. But he's favored over Sky Woodward in their match today. And that kind of shocked me with the way Sky played yesterday, the way Sky is capable of playing in the Mosconi Cup, and the fact that FSR is a rookie. I was really surprised to see that. In fact, I was tempted to place a little bit of a wager on that.
You don't got the stones, buddy. No, here's the thing. Like, for that particular matchup could have really shifted momentum when it came to Team Europe. Now, we're going to talk about the next match here in a minute, but it could not have gone any better for Team Europe in that second match, because number one, it got your 2 guys who had a lot of question marks, fluid, greased up, ready to go, in gear, putting balls in the hole. And number 2, it did what you wanted to do, which is put Earl on full-blown tilt. And he really was.
Well, but, here's one thing. If you're a U.S. fan and you're pulling for Earl, what you just said, Joey, is 100% right. You don't get any rhythm, any kind of flow in a doubles match. And, when you're making shots, if you're worried about leaving for your next shot, you don't worry about it as much, but you try to be perfect because you're leaving it for your teammate, things like that. I'm interested to see if Earl plays better now in a singles match than in doubles.
We all expect him to play that first match, don't we?
He'll play the first match against Jason, guaranteed. And Jason's going to put the heat on him, and it's going to be really telling what we're going to get out of Earl for the next 3 days by how he handles his first match.
Just to clarify, we don't know for sure that's going to be the fans' choice, but
if you're looking to gamble some, Mr. Ryan,
it hasn't been announced.
I'll gladly oblige.
That rely on us for information, and they're going to start posting.
100%. We do not know anything. I was not told anything. I am not leaking any news. If I'm willing to place
I
any,
don't think anybody who listens to the show really leans on us for factual information.
100%. We're just three donkeys sitting here
Certainly not us,
giving opinion.
no.
But hey, listen, let's transition over to the third match of the day. Big one, marquee box office. Sky Woodward, Hill, Josh Filler. What can you say about it?
Well, Sky got a couple rolls there. There's no doubt. Our buddy in the chat, Mike Check, points that out, right? Sky had the combo. Sky had the golden break.
Right.
But Sky hung in there the whole time. And
Sky also let Josh off the hook with the missed 9 ball too.
Yeah,
Let's not forget about that.
Game too.
Yeah,
exactly. So, but he hung in there every step of the way, and you just had this feeling that if it's like when Tom Brady has the ball in the fourth quarter, you have a feeling if he's going to get the ball back, he's going to lead them down the field and win the game.
You mean pre-Buccaneers Tom Brady,
Okay,
right?
Sure.
I mean, just so we're clear, right?
Yes.
Tom Brady with the
I
Patriots.
just had that feeling that if it comes down to it and Sky got to the table, he was going to get there. And then Josh misses that one ball.
That's what I was going to ask.
Sky gets to the table. And I look at that layout and I'm like, oh boy, he's got to make a combination.
Yeah.
The pockets are tight. The pressure's there.
Well, how do y'all like it when Josh is on the one though at Hill? You think he's out?
He's out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As dominating as Josh is?
He's finding
it was basically the same layout that Sky had. So I was still hopeful as an American fan that he could miss that combo or play that combo and the ball roll behind another ball. Right. But yeah, he misses the one ball, which was very surprising. I watched that shot again today. It didn't appear that he had any hiccup in his stroke. It looked like a normal Josh Filler stroke. He just misaligned, I think, misaimed it.
I think if he's playing Shane, he makes that shot.
Oh, Josh?
Yeah.
I mean, Sky. I'm not saying Sky's had Josh's number, but Sky plays Filler really well.
And I know, and I think Josh realizes that he's in a match where one mistake and he's done. Just like
you think he respects Sky like that much?
I think he respects Sky in that match, that race to 5 match in a Mosconi Cup. He knows that it's going to be. I mean, he's seen Sky do it. He saw Sky do it when he was playing Albin. He saw Sky do it, in different years where he'll take someone game for game
that jump shot
and then see what happens at Hill and you're right. You get him a shot at the table and he got the job done.
I want to go back early in that last rack, because Sky made one of the best shots that you'll ever see. Josh put him in jail, and Sky had to make a 2-rail kick on a ball that's right up against, that one ball was right up against another ball, and it was barely a good hit. But even Allison Fisher was kind of flabbergasted in the commentary booth, like what an amazing shot that was.
Touch
so he hit it. It kind of double kissed the one ball, pops out, and then you'll notice Josh. I don't know if he used an extension on that, but he took a lot of time. I do remember, because it wasn't an easy safety coming off of there, and he didn't lock Sky up off of that to where Sky was able to elevate with the jump cue and hit the one. But from that shot there is where Josh gets the one ball and misses the one ball.
I've been saying for years, I think Sky is one of the best kickers in the game. Like, not just kicking with the sense of I'm going to make contact, but kicking with purpose, right? It takes a lot of knowledge to know that under those conditions to hit that ball the way that he hit it, where like it's containing, right? Because he knows he's not trying to create separation. He's just trying to make contact and really make Josh uncomfortable. And to your credit, you're right, because Josh, after he is returned with that shot, he's kind of scratching his head like, what the hell do I got to do with this guy? Right? Because he put him in dead jail, and then Sky comes back with the way that he did it. Sky's safety game is very underrated from a defensive standpoint and an offensive standpoint.
Well, when that shot came up and I looked at it, I watched it live, but I couldn't appreciate it. So I watched it again on Matrim's highlights, and I was paying particular attention to Sky's body language as he approached the table, because my body language would have been as scared as I've ever been in my life that I'm going to make a bad hit here and it's going to free something up for Josh. Sky walked to the table, business as usual. He walks around. He's like, okay, I'm going to have to kick out of 2 rails this way. And, hits the shot beautifully.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Huge shot. We got some guys, keep with the comments. We're seeing your comments. Folks are saying that the feed keeps getting frozen. Let us know, is that just on Facebook? Or YouTube people having problems as well? We have pretty good internet here. I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, allegedly we have good internet here. We're trying, yeah. No, but hey, listen, it ended up finishing last night with what ended up being a pretty great matchup. Tyler picking up right where he picked off. I think Jeremy's decision to play Shane and Tyler to finish off Day one was phenomenal. It really could have swung either way, especially with all the chirping that was going on from Team Europe, and particularly Jason Shaw. That was his chance to go and shine, and I think that he really, I don't want to say let his team down, but he gave USA a chance to take control of that match, and they did, both Tyler and Shane.
He just had some concerned body language, it looked like.
Who's that?
Jason is one that walks around confident all the time.
Yeah.
He talks the talk, but then he walks the walk, and he was not walking that walk yesterday. There was a lack of confidence there that you don't normally see out of him. And, he's a professional, obviously. He's
Right.
one of the best players
Definitely.
in the world. He could snap out of this
Without a
tomorrow.
doubt. Snap out of it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One today.
Yeah.
He's looking to catch
And who better than Earl to go and get
Yeah.
and to get back in rhythm.
Yourself back in the straight.
Yeah, but he didn't have that fire. He didn't have that confidence, and I'm curious to see if he'll have that today.
Yeah, well, we talked yesterday about, how geeked up Jason was going into this, and how personal he was trying to make things, and how we're going to run you guys over, and we're never going to miss a shot, and all that stuff. He put a lot of pressure on himself. And I think that he was taken a little aback by how well the U.S. played out of the gate, and by how dominating the crowd was. And all of a sudden, Jason didn't look as confident and as sure as he's looked in the past. And I thought that he was. It's easy to lose focus when your attention is on other crap, like Earl or the other.
A lot of other
or
things.
The fans. His mind was on a lot of things, and it's easy to lose focus on things like that. And so it didn't surprise me, to be honest, that he did not have his best day yesterday.
I think it was a number of factors, like you're mentioning, Mike, and all of them I think were a part of it. The biggest one for me that I felt was weight on him, and maybe I'm just overanalyzing here, but I thought it was the role of being the vice captain. Like, I have to be a leader here. I have to pick you up. I have to give you advice. I have to do this. It seemed like Jason got this position because I feel like he's a natural leader, but it felt like he was pressing too much. I remember watching that match with Albin, and he's giving Albin, some tips and pointers here, but I think they're different hands, ain't they?
Yeah.
Right? Albin's a champion. He's World Cup pool champion. U.S. Open champion.
Trying too hard.
That's what I mean, though, right? Like trying to play that leadership role too much, and maybe early on having so much energy from the crowd and the moment and all that, and then trying to be in that role, and then trying to, oh, by the way, play great pool, and then you're dealing with the fans, and then you're getting hit back by Tyler and Shane when the Europeans were favored in that matchup as well. So
I thought that yesterday when I was watching the team, demeanor yesterday with Team Europe, I thought Josh was the guy who was trying to take the leadership role. Josh was the guy. Yeah, well, you watched during the team match, he was walking over to each guy in the thing when it was coming up to his turn. He's poking them all in the chest, saying, "Don't worry about a thing. I got this. I'm going to get this rack, whatever." And he did that a lot. I thought that he was.
They can depend on that dude so well, man. He played phenomenal.
And he's getting to that point where, he used to be just so introverted as far as other, the other players on the team go and things like. He was just kind of, take care of his own business. But now he's kind of, yesterday to me, he looked like he was playing a little bit of a leadership role. And that would be interesting to see going forward.
One of the coolest things for me yesterday was, I don't know if it was a teams or the Sky match, but it was one of Josh's very first games, and he's about to pot the 9, and he goes and does this number here, and I'm like, welcome to the Mosconi Cup, Mike. Here, like now I couldn't like that. That's whenever I realized, like, oh shit, I'm at the Mosconi Cup, but I love that though. I love that. It got American fans pissed off.
Was it during the Sky match where he completely shit in the 9-ball?
Oh, Joey's tweet was amazing. He
jumped up and down and ran around the arena like he meant to do.
Like an amazing shot. I would have
been embarrassed. But then again, he rattled that 1-8.
Yes.
It finally
looked like it was about to stay.
And he did look over at Sky and kind of smiled and winked like he knew he got away with one.
Oh, without a doubt.
It was kind of like an apologetic wink.
But at the end of it,
you can't not love watching Josh play. You want him to lose if you're a U.S. fan, but you got to love watching that guy play.
Being here in person, there's little things that you get that you don't get on the production, right? You don't get on TV. And one of those things, one of our commenters here from YouTube, Casey, points out that Jason said in the interview that Europe wasn't going to duck on any shots. And as soon as he played a safe, everybody's like, center of the pocket. You know?
Listen, let me tell you
Not
who
gonna
was
play
trolling
safe.
more than anyone out of the 2,500 people that were there, and that was my man Mike Panozzo. You know, if we had a camera and a microphone on him the entire time, there may have been some chirping from the media section. Is all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, you know what?
But it was
40
fun.
years, you get to play favorites. After I spent all those early years trying to be as even keel as I can when I would cover the Mosconi Cup, and now I'm like, you know, who am I kidding? My heart, you know, your heart. When you're in an atmosphere like that and you're watching it and you're on the edge of your seat, and we stood the whole time.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Your heart will tell you where you're at. You can try to be as even keel as you want, but your heart's like, make this ball, miss that shot, whatever. You hang.
Dude,
that's what the Mosconi Cup does. You hang.
I was so
every
conflicted.
shot.
I was so conflicted because I'm betting on Team Europe and yet I'm cheering on the Americans, you know, and it was very I don't know who I was yesterday, but it was a phenomenal time, phenomenal experience. If you're in the area, come by, check it out. Bally's in Las Vegas. If you're at home and here in the US, check it out on DAZN. You guys can get the subscription for the month or even for the year, which is a steal of value because they have a ton of other events besides the Mosconi Cup. Oh yeah, you name boxing, everything. Let's talk about the captains for a little bit, and then we'll transition over to day two. How does it look, you know, afterwards, where they put their soldiers at in day one?
Well, let me just start with this. If you guys didn't check out our interviews from yesterday afternoon, check them out. We talked with Jeremy, we talked with Alex, we talked with Sky. If you go to Windows Open, there's a short interview with Tyler as well. One thing I'll say about Alex, what a professional he is. He comes and he sits down, and one of the first questions we ask him is about how do you keep the team from not panicking? And Mike, you loved his answer.
I loved his answer.
He says, we got these best players in the world. If any of them are trailing in a race to 11, 3-1, who's going to panic?
Right.
And that's exactly right. You know,
when he said that, I'm like, oh shit!
What a stupid question,
Joey
asked.
No, but it was a perfect response. I felt like
it was, and I think he brings that to his team. Like, I think the message to his team was, "Hey, we got this." Okay, it was one bad day. It wasn't even a terrible day for them. I mean, if you think about it, like if Josh wins that match, if Josh doesn't miss the one ball, it's 2-2.
Right.
Right.
And also, I mean, as he pointed out, it's a little different than last year when they were trailing, because last year they had some really subpar performances the first couple of days. They had a couple of guys who weren't playing well at all.
Right.
Kachi, a couple of, weren't playing well. Yesterday, if you looked at them as a whole, most of the guys played pretty well. David played great. Josh played great. Francisco played great.
Francisco played phenomenal. Albin was great in that doubles matchup with Jason.
Solid with that doubles match, and Jason
came clutch, which is what he does.
Anything. So he had guys making balls. They didn't get some rolls, whatever. It's only 3-1, and we'll go through the lineups in a minute. But man, you look at the lineup he threw out there today. It's like, okay, we're going after him today. I mean,
let's jump on into it because this is a very good spot for Europe to get one back. I feel like. And it serves multiple purposes because you can have Jason up there more than likely. I feel like against Earl, Jason, who was kind of struggling a little bit. What better to get in gear with than the old man?
Yeah. One thing, a question I have here for you guys: how do they avoid ballot stuffing here? How do they avoid the U.S. not going on there and doing tons of votes for David or FSR?
Because I think mostly the fans want to see marquee matches.
Yep.
They're not playing. Okay, let's stack it up. Let's have Shane against Alex Kazakis. All of a sudden there's 9 million votes for that matchup. The fans want to see it.
What a shot, Mike, at Alex, man. He ain't even he didn't do nothing to you today. Come on, Mike.
Alex is one of the nicest guys in the pool, too.
He is, and I know I say that because he can take it. But so it's you want to see the best matchups, and you knew that was going to. And then you look at the second match, and you're like, you can't. I mean, we talked about it at the press conference. The captain said we don't try to guess what the other team's going to do, things like that. Alex knew that Shane was going to be the first singles match coming out of the fans' choice, and there's no, coincidence that he threw Josh right back out there.
Yeah, I think that's taking a little bit of a chance. If Josh ends up losing,
not against Shane, not the Mosconi Cup.
Well, you're going. It's like it's a matchup that they like because
they love it.
They figured Jason's stealing from Earl, and now
it's
3-2, and there's a little more pressure on Shane, and you've got Shane's Achilles heel facing him in Josh. There's no doubt that Alex looked and said, "They're putting Shane up second. Go get him, Josh."
if Shane can knock him off here,
Of course.
what does that do to
Well,
Team-
because you
what
had
does that
Sky
do to
play
Team Europe?
yesterday, that's why.
Yeah, what does that do to Team Europe? Though?
So you knew that Shane had to be one of the next singles matches,
Right.
but you've already played Josh singles. You're going to run him out there again because it's Shane.
Yeah.
We're saying, Joey?
No, I was just saying that. What does that do to the psyche of Team Europe if Josh goes down twice in singles matches in 2 days?
Huge.
It's
You know,
enormous.
but the chance they're willing to
I mean,
take
it could
because
happen. Let's it's Shane Van Boning.
Earl could beat Jason.
Right, but okay, percentage wise, the likelihood of a Shane beating Josh is higher than what Earl would be, right? But I'm not, to your point, if somehow Earl beats Jason, you want to talk about taking the wind out of Team Europe. If Earl gets that victory against the guy who was talking louder than anyone on earth on that stage, that's your captain. Like
they were the
it's
winners of
perfect
the
for
press
Jason, but
conference.
you better go deliver. Because then you're gonna have Josh on deck against Shane with USA having a ton of momentum, up 4-1, and can Shane beat Josh for sure?
Yeah.
Has Josh had his number? Without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that we're presuming the fans' choice is going to be Earl and Jason.
You just won't let go of the fact that we don't.
It's okay. What I'm trying to say is that if you look at who probably played the poorest on each team yesterday, it was those two guys.
Well, let's take a look. Yeah. We got some TPAs from Mike Salmon. He sent me some information that was pretty telling, including the TPAs. I was pretty surprised because my eyes tell me a lot different than what these numbers show me here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look at Jason.
Wow, Tyler.
0.762, who wasn't going to duck a shot or miss a packet.
Heart of the pocket, he said. Heart of the pocket, Shaw.
But Earl, I didn't think it's actually possible to shoot under 0.5. But he did.
Jason better win that match. I'm telling you, Jason better win that match, Mike.
100%, he's got to. But Jason didn't help himself yesterday. So
I think he'll be a lot more settled and gets just perfect for him, And we listen. Jason's here because of his Mosconi Cup pedigree, right? He's delivered so many times on these big stages with the crowd, whether it's pro-European or pro-American, right? He can fade it. He's built for it. He's coming off an international win, which was phenomenal. The guy's going to get settled in and get going. But can Earl play a little mental stuff with him too? I think so.
Oh yeah.
Earl's got to go in there, guns blazing, and not a worry in the world. I mean, he cannot, put
listen, when you're batting 270, all you got is upside. All you got is upside here, Mike. Well, you can't go any lower.
I think the singles will benefit Earl. I think he will settle in a little bit. I think he will play pretty well. And one really encouraging thing about Earl, after that match yesterday, I remember thinking, "Oh boy, here we go." But he was probably the biggest cheerleader Team USA had yesterday.
What do y'all make of that? Because we asked Jeremy that, and he was saying that I think part of it was Earl, but part of it was them kind of, giving him the elbow and go get out there and be involved.
I mean, he was the first one out there.
Earl.
Yeah, he was the first one out there. He was cheerleading, especially the Skyler match, man. He's running out there and hugging him. Yeah, you got this. It was really nice to see, and I think it was big for Team USA and their camaraderie.
I think he felt like he owed the team that after hanging his head in the doubles match. And so it was like, okay, if I can't do it on the table, I'm going to do it off the table.
I get that, but
hopefully that gets him some kind of, I'm sure last night they spent the entire night trying to build up his confidence, knowing that he was going to be out there this morning.
Listen, but you can't waste your whole trip out here pacifying Earl Strickland. I mean, he's a great player, but it can weigh on those American players knowing that they have to baby him, to make sure they keep his spirits up. No, listen. Listen. If the guy's out there with his head down 1 minute and then giving you a hug 5 minutes later, like you're gonna think something's not right there.
Look, we know how Earl can be. We know he's emotional, right? He wears it on his sleeve. Let's see what happens in this match today. Let's see how he plays, and then we can comment on that later today.
Yeah.
We saw him already.
He goes out there, even if I have a feeling if he plays well and loses, I think it'll be a lot better for him. Right?
Yeah.
I think it'll turn him around.
Earl Strickland have you seen that takes any kind of loss well? I mean, show me where he's taken moral victories in his career. I mean, please let me know. I'd love to watch that match.
I saw Brandon post
the International Open. He lost to Soto and was like
right, but you didn't think he was free rolling there? I think he was free rolling, thinking that he had no chance of making the Mosconi Cup, so he was just out there playing pool. That's what I feel like at the International.
I think absolutely the opposite. I think that he knew that the International was his shot, and he won that TV match, and he was playing. So he was the last American standing. I think it meant a lot to him.
Listen, the guy's a legend. I hope he plays well. I really do.
Are you saying he doesn't take a loss well? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, am I breaking any news here, boys? I mean, what am I doing?
Hey, my buddy Brandon Schuff posted today that he's beat Earl like 7 times in the last like decade or whatever, and like 2 times Earl didn't shake his hands afterwards.
I believe it, man.
Yeah, totally believe it.
But this Earl can get there playing 9-ball, and especially in a race to 5, he can. Right now, the odds are going to say that he's an underdog, and he should be. But if you're rooting for Team USA, this is a very important matchup, because if you're going to have Shane be any more loose than what he was yesterday, imagine Earl coming off of victory and knowing that you got a 4-1 cushion, and now you're playing against Josh, and you got guys behind you that are playing real well. SVB playing loose, dangerous, boys, dangerous.
Yeah. So Ken from YouTube has a great comment here. Ken R. He says he was thinking about the same thing last night. The players having to concentrate on holding Earl together may take away from them focusing on their own balls and opportunities, right? But then it also might be a positive, right? And I think I could see that, right? Hey, guys, let's band together here. Let's make sure we know Earl can be temperamental. We know he can be emotional. Let's work together to make sure. And then all of a sudden you establish this team camaraderie.
Joey, you'll break your foot and you'll say that it's a positive.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. Yeah. Hey, we got pessimists in this world like you, and we have optimists.
I'm more of a realist than anything else. I think it does weigh on. I think a lot of those guys will tell you as much, but Earl also has a lot of upside. Now, if they can keep him more on the positive, for sure. But it's just tough to fade when he's so up and down is my thing. Like when every one of those guys, from the leader in Shane or the leader in Sky, are going to have nerves. Now, how they process it and show it is differently, right? Because Sky just laughs it off, plays great pool. Shane can kind of wear it on his shoulders a little bit. But like I said, if he's playing more free, and if the rest of those guys are playing free, and really everybody else played pretty good pool. Yeah. Oscar played great. Shane played great. Sky played great. Right? Tyler played phenomenal pool. He was the best player out there yesterday, right?
Well, let's talk about that, because after the Shane Josh match today, we have Steyer and Dominguez against Filler and Ocean. What are your thoughts on that match?
Again, I think Alex, was coming out of the box hot today. He was like,
I love playing Josh back to back.
We're going to try to get this back, to our favor as quickly as we can. We're going to throw heavy artillery at him. So they're going Shaw, Josh, Albin. I mean, that's pretty strong out of the gate. But, Tyler playing great. Tyler and Oscar, no one's going to get under their skin. Right? No. They're gonna be as calm and together and stay in the match, stay in the moment as they can. So it's I like that pairing going against Josh and Albin. I'm trying to remember how Josh and Albin play together. I mean, Albin's just so solid, and Josh never misses a ball.
Albin's phenomenal. Yeah. Albin's a monster. Albin anchored Jason yesterday. I think he gave them, the best chance they had to win. I mean, They came up short, but if it wasn't for Albin playing clutch the way he did, they're never in that position to begin with, I feel like. Of course, we saw how great Josh played and the same way, right? Because he had a shot to beat Sky. I love that matchup for Team Europe. It's going to be incredibly difficult, but here's the deal, is that you got 4 guys who are there to do a job, right? You got Tyler and Oscar that are there to do a job. You got Josh and Albin who are there to do a job. It's about who's going to have a better break, who's going to execute. Now, from an execution standpoint, you kind of like the Europeans a little better. Yeah. The crowd's going to be a factor, but that scoreline coming into it, because if it's 3-3, if you're Team USA and you're down and you lose the first 2, now it's going to be even more pressure, and we're going to see what the Americans are made of then at that point.
I love this team of Tyler Steyer and Oscar Dominguez. I think they're going to gel and play really well together. That there's that relationship that they have there. I know Tyler's come out and done clinics at hard times. I think that's going to be a really strong team, and one that can knock off Filler and Ocean. I really do. If Tyler can maintain his level of play, which is a big if, because he's playing right now out of this world. But if he can, this could be one of these events for him that catapults him to the very top of the American pool scene. If you remember, when he first made the Mosconi Cup team, when Jeremy selected him, or actually it was Johan selected him, he was probably like a 730 couple Fargo. And after that, it's like his trajectory just skyrocketed. But after what we saw yesterday, if he can maintain anywhere near that level of play, he comes out of this event up in the high 700s I mean, obviously, it's going to take a while for the stats to catch up, but he's going to be playing that caliber of pool, I think.
Well, you know how well he can play, and it's just consistency that's been the bugaboo. It's he can look great in one match and then lose someone he shouldn't even be, in a close match with. So, but I think he's, we said before this started, he's got the perfect temperament for a Mosconi Cup. He's confident. He's not going to get rattled. He's got good enough player to win these races to 5 against anybody.
Without a doubt. And with that break too.
And he is the wild card for Team USA this year if they have a chance to win. And these are the type of matches where if you're looking to get that point that's gonna really help elevate you, if Tyler and Oscar can team up to steal a point, that's a huge point for Team USA that not a lot of people were expecting, or the type of point you need to get to 11 is to win a match where Shane and Sky are not involved.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Well, let me just point one thing out. One of our commenters, J.A. Malloy from YouTube, points out that ever since he got married, he's rising to the top, and I think there's something to be said about that, right? When things in your personal, like,
listen, when you get one less thing off your mind, buddy,
There's that one more thing on your mind.
A lot of times we say a pool player gets married and there it goes. They have no shot now. Right?
I'm just saying.
But it's different because he married a pool player, right? She's a great pool player. We saw her grist last night practicing. Definitely. And so iron sharpens iron. And I'm sure they're matching up.
She plays phenomenal pool, by the way.
And they're making each other better. And just that emotional peace of mind, right? I've found someone, we're happy. Yeah, that's a big part of playing well.
Leave it to Jenny Ann to come up with the marital angle to why someone's playing well.
That's Tyler, Jenny Ann. I didn't even.
Of course it is.
Tyler plays well on matchroom events. He does. We saw it at the U.S. Open have some successes. Yeah, I love this chemistry between Tyler and Oscar. As a friend of Oscar's, I'd be in between, Tyler and Sky, just because what you're gonna get out of Sky. But boy, has Tyler really just come into his own, at least on day one at the Mosconi Cup. Now we still got 3 more days to go, including today, right? So the story's not done being written when it comes to Tyler, but a hell of a first start. I feel like it's gonna be a big matchup. It's, I don't know, man. It's just who's gonna blink first. I feel like, right? Yeah. And I got a lot of hardware on that blue and yellow side. That's going to be tough to kind of, check off Team USA. I'll be honest with you.
You don't find any soft matches on that side of the ledger.
Well, let's go into the next one, boys, because we got the guy who took down Josh yesterday in Sky, right? The guy who was the, besides Billy Thorpe, he was the emotional heartbeat for Team USA yesterday. But he's playing against Mr. 9-Ball himself and FSR, El Ferrari, right? Isn't that what they call him, Mike? So, that's going to be a big matchup as well.
And this is the matchup that if you're Europe, you're going, this is one we'd love to steal. Okay, because, you said the betting line favored Francisco.
Right.
But, if you're looking at this from Mosconi Cup pedigree, Skyler is the top
he's coming into like legendary kind of status this year.
He's the top USA guy out there in Mosconi Cup. So this is one where they're like, we've got Francisco in here, and I think it was really smart of Alex to put him there, because if you look at the 3 matches ahead of him, they could be on a little bit of a roll coming into that match, right? And if they are, then, Francisco can play loose and smooth because there's, all the pressure's off and they've won 2 of the last 3 matches, or it's tied up, or whatever the case is. So, but if the U.S. wins a couple of those first 2 matches, steals a couple of points, still has the lead.
Oh, let me tell you, if they come in, if Team USA can find a way to win 2 out of the first 3 matchups,
then the heat's on.
Give me Sky Woodward all day long, boys.
Yeah.
All day long. Even if it's close, even if you're, what is it going to be? Let's say 3-3. Even if, let's say, if it's 4-3 USA, I still like Francisco's chances. But if it's 4-3 Europe, the guy's going to be feeling real good, right?
Yeah,
but if they're in a hole at the Mosconi Cup in Las Vegas, at Bally's, right? Like where we're at,
see what Francisco's about.
We're going to see how he's really built here.
Well, I thought it was really interesting yesterday. I'm sitting next to Pinozo. Actually, we were standing next to each other. And he said the best possible scenario is during the team match is the U.S. breaks and runs on Francisco and he doesn't get a shot. And so that didn't happen. He comes up, he's got a shot on the one ball.
It's pretty cold what happened.
He makes it in the side, but then he scratches in the other side.
That's a shame.
Pinozo,
that's what Mike said, literally.
No. He leans over and he says, no, actually, that's the best thing that could have happened. And so, but I'll give him credit because after that he settled down and he seemed to be very comfortable, especially in that doubles
And
match.
he
We
played
talked
like the
about
best
that.
9-ball player.
Look,
He
match
played
match
great.
partner, bet online. I
Yeah.
saw their odds today. I just don't understand it. And I really think that now that pool is starting to become something where you can bet online, I think there's going to be a lot of lines that are questionable and people can make a lot of money on this.
Yeah.
Really, because if you
Well,
look
the
at
lines
this,
are being set
this-
in the UK.
yeah, and
right.
but this
And
line,
First of
doesn't-
all, yes.
and they
this
all
line-
listen to Emily introduce Francisco as the
You
greatest player
can't-
in the world for the last 12
Yeah, but
months.
this line
and whatever,
doesn't make
so-
any sense.
Intangibles are one like Sky at the Mosconi Cup is different, but you're talking about the guy who's been in most majors all year long in
I get it.
Francisco. You know,
Hottest player.
but I get what you're saying because the
pick 'em
Mosconi Cup.
all day. It's a pick 'em. This match 100% is a pick 'em.
Well, go fire something, Reg.
I'm just
That's all I'm saying.
There should
Yeah.
not be a favorite in this match because Sky's Mosconi pedigree, Francisco playing the best of anybody on the planet.
And not
But
just that, but I
being
mean,
a
home court is going to play a factor
Home
too.
court,
Like, what's
being
home
a
court worth in
rookie,
football, Mike?
There's a lot of factors here.
Do you watch football? Do you know?
Three.
3, yeah, 3. Home court's worth 3, right? So home court is something to be said as
Football is a
well.
Field, but okay.
Yeah, but you know, I'm with you. I was surprised on that one as well. Sky coming off a win against Josh, the Mosconi Cup. You think that kid's gonna have confidence? We interviewed him yesterday,
yeah.
right? He looked as smooth as can be. Even last night, whenever we saw him, he didn't have a care in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
he takes it seriously. But my point is that he processes everything so well.
Yeah.
He comes clutch when he needs to. I guarantee you, Mr. FSR, number 1 9-ball player on earth,
He's not scared.
don't scare Sky
No,
Woodward
no.
one single bit, and he's gonna be ready, especially in that matchup, whether they're in a hole or they're ahead. But we're gonna finish off the day, guys, in SVB and Earl against Jason again.
Kind of interesting, right? Jason kind of closing it out both days in doubles matches, especially after what happened yesterday in that match. Kind of surprised to see that he's up again in the doubles match at the end of the day. But Van Boning and Strickland, I'm excited to see that team play. I really
Earth
think
is
that's-
excited to see them play.
Yeah, heck yeah. I mean, that should be really interesting. There's a great deal of respect from both of them for each other.
No, that's Shane's. Shane's looked up to Earl. Mike knows this, right, Mike?
Yeah,
I mean,
Yes, forever. He's-
If-
you know, he's-
If Earl loses that fans' choice match that we're presuming that he's going to be in, I'm not saying for sure. But if he loses
Allegedly.
that match and he's kind of down and out a little bit, this would be the match where Shane and him
pulls him
kind of
back into
can get him back
Yeah.
in gear, I think.
who's it
Um,
more important for? You feel like
That match?
Yeah.
You mean the Americans or Europe or
Yeah.
Shane or Earl?
pick one.
Well, the score is going to dictate who it's more important for as a team aspect. But I think it is an important match for Earl. I think
Yeah.
he's going to want to show up. He's going to want to play well with Shane. I think it's going to be pretty important.
Like I said this last night at Griff's, most Europeans wrote a check that their asses better be able to cash, and we're gonna find out if they can cash it today. And it comes from those 2 guys on Team Europe right there, and David, who surprised a lot of people in the press conference saying what he said, and the guy who called out Earl and was headhunting him from the very beginning, pre-Mosconi Cup. This is your chance. You better get that point if you're Team Europe. I don't care what the score is. You better deliver against Earl and SVB, especially Jason, because Jason's probably going to be playing Earl 2 times today. We expect him at the beginning, and if you're following up at the end and you got Earl sitting across from you, you better get those points if you're Eagle Eye.
Well, whoever wins that first match, if it is indeed those 2 playing each other in the fans' choice.
How do we not know this by now? We're like three guys who
Well, because
know
we're
some
stuck
people.
in a room in the back of the arena.
Yeah.
Everybody out there already knows who's playing.
Yeah.
Oh, the crowd's already picking up over here,
Yeah,
boys.
The arena's filling up. We have a TV screen in here. We're checking
But
it out.
I think whoever wins that first match is going to have a big edge going into that doubles match because they'll
Yeah.
be able to look at that guy across the arena and say, I got you earlier today. I'm going to get you again.
Yeah, guys, we're going to have to wrap it up in a second. I just want to give a quick update here. If you want to support us, if you like what we're doing, you can head on over to patreon.com/doggingit. And we have a couple different tiers there where you can sign up to support us. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to all the sponsors that really helped us get here. Please patronize them, use their services, buy their products. We really appreciate that. I'm excited for day 2, boys. Let's get in there and get at
Earl
it.
Shaw, it's official. David says so. I guess they've announced it. So it is going to be Earl versus Shaw. So
That's a shock.
shocking, breaking
No longer
news,
presumed.
breaking news.
Joe, you could have won money.
Yeah, guys, 448 people in here across 3 different platforms.
Great
Thanks so
stuff.
much.
We
for your
appreciate you
support.
guys.
We will be back right after the event today. So
Hey,
stay
and
tuned.
let us know who you'd like for us to interview. We're going to get a bunch of people in today afterwards. So let us know. Hit us up.